Well, hello, my little potato, you beautiful soul. Oh, I always like to start off with I love you, so I love you. What to tell you? What to tell you? I mean, today's Sunday. Like, woke up and then I was starting my prayer and I did my meditation and I was in the middle of something else. And then my sister was like, "Hey, do you want to go to H Mart with me?" And, you know, so we went to H Mart. It's a Sunday at H Mart, so that means the parking lot is packed. So when we got there, I just said to the parking angel, I'm like, "Hey, I just want a parking spot." Um, it doesn't have to be right near the front, but just relatively close and closer than JCPenney, which is like very far away. And so we ended up getting a parking spot, thank you, and then, we were looking for, we just bought some pork belly and some marinated beef and some red leaf lettuce, just things like that. And then came home and my sister was like, "What are you doing?" She was like, "Oh, it's so hot." And I was like, "Oh, just go to my room. It's cold in there." And she's like, we walked in. She was like, "Oh my God, it's really cold here." I'm like, "I know, it's like an igloo." So we were in here, and then later my mom was asked us to go to Costco. So then we went to Costco. We also went to Walmart and bought a new planner. Actually, I figured, you know, I figured I'm gonna need one, and I said, if they have one that's September, October through all of next year, then I'm gonna go ahead and get it. And they had one that was April of this year through December of next year, so I went ahead and got it. It's the same color as the one I currently have, so at least I'm consistent. um, and then so when just that's what we bought at Walmart. I feel like I bought something else today. Oh, and then we had to go to the store, so I stopped by and then after Costco, we went to Costco on a Sunday, which is my least favorite place to go. Um, but we just picked up stuff for the house, and then later on we were eating dinner. And my mom said, "Oh, if I'd known you were gonna cook, I wanted to get Dungeness crab because Costco was having a sale." And we're like, "Well, if we'd known that, we wouldn't have cooked." But it's what it was. Um, but honestly, crab would have been good with the rest of the meat. But that's just my opinion. Um, and then what else was there? Um, I didn't really work today. I just I mean, sort of, but like not really. I started to, but I just didn't. And I came up with an idea to work with my friend, the original person that I planned on working with. And yeah, so I like sent the link to the videos that I made last night to a couple friends just to get their opinion as like moms, and we're just waiting to see what happened. And then they said they would get back to me. The one friend said she liked it, so whatever. And I sent the link to like a couple people just to test it out, see what think about it. Um, and then my sister and I made rice later and had dinner. And after dinner, my classmate said, "Hey, let's get on a call." Actually, while I was on the call, while I was getting ready to eat dinner, my classmate said, "Hey, I need to get on a call." So we said, "Okay." So we scheduled a call. We got on the call, and we're probably on the call for. I got on a little after 7, and then we were on there till about 9 something, maybe almost 10. So that was that. And then at some point during the day, my sister said, my thigh really hurts. Can you give me Reiki?" And I said, "Oh, I don't practice Reiki anymore." And she's like, "What?" Because she used to come to me whenever her body would hurt because I would just fix her up and then send her on her way. And she's like, "Yeah." She goes, "It's different now." And I don't know. I I've thought about it. I've thought about going back to practicing Reiki. Last time when I went to go practice, when I went to go practice, when I said, this is what last time. Well, I was thinking about the first time, I say last time, but I mean the first time. The first time I was thinking about when I was thinking about Reiki class, I was like, if it's meant for me, it will happen, right? And I entered this raffle and it was $20 and I won the raffle, right? So I figure if God and like the universe wants me to do it again, to take Reiki class again and to start practicing Reiki again, that it will happen again as easily as that. And so for that reason, I guess I'll put it out there. If the God and universe wants me to take Reiki class again and to become a healer, then I'll do that. If there's some other plan that they have for me, then I'll do that too. Um, then I'll do that instead. I mean, um, and or maybe two, because maybe I'll do Reiki and then later on there'll be something else, So I'm open to it, right? I like to keep my options open. It's just like, I was telling my sister today about moving to New York, moving to Florida. And the thing is they're wildly different, you know? And wherever it is that I'm supposed to move, I'd like it to be easy, right? And so Florida is looking pretty easy, right? Because it's when I say pretty easy, I mean because like there's a place for me to live. I don't have to furnish a whole house. I would just be furnishing a bedroom. Granted, I don't know how big that bedroom is, but I don't have to do first months. I don't have to do security deposits. I don't have to, furnish the house. I would like to have a car because having a car would make life easier. So you're not beholden, you like I can go do things without having to, be dependent on people. And then also it's good for me to drive sometimes, right? So there is that. Um and it's the East Coast, so like maybe if I want to go to Disney World or Fort Lauderdale or Miami or whatever, any of the places, then I'd like to be able to go. And so for that reason, and then I'm like, if I stay in Houston, my sister's like, well, if you stay in Houston, you need to do. Houston is probably the most expensive place for me to stay, honestly. Like, and this is assuming that I get my own place, right? Because like I move out of here. Houston is the most expensive place because I gotta furnish the whole house. Um, and I need a car. And the rent would probably be like almost 2,000. I could go live in one of my old landlord's places, right? So there is that. So like, but yeah, that's gonna still be almost $2,000. And I'm like, do I, but I do these, so there's like there's different things about living in different places, and where do I want my life? Where do I want it to be? Um, and when I lived in the Heights, I was in like a different place in my life, And if I go now, so there's like all these like things. Now, if I moved into like an actual apartment, there was this apartment that I did like, and it was in town. It was not in town, but it was in the energy corridor, and it was very active social. And so that would be good for me too. It's not too far from here. It's not very near any grocery stores though, so I don't know how I feel about that one. But if they have another property management that's like in town, then I would go there. But then there's also a part of town that I would like to go. But either way, staying in Houston is almost the most expensive option. And I don't know that there's anything left for me here, other than like it's very convenient. Um, I like the grocery stores. Like I like kind of like city life. Um, so I don't know about I don't know about those things. And like, again, if I move to Tennessee with my friend, um, I need a car. And also, it wouldn't be forever. It would just be temporary. And so there are things that I would not take with me because of space issues. Because I've been to that house and I've been to that room. And plus, I don't know if I want to live with my friend and her husband, So I'm like, um, what else is there? Yeah. I mean, I did have a dream years ago that I was supposed to move to Nashville. So that's an option. It's like in the middle between Tennessee and it's in the middle between New York and Florida. So I could live there, but I don't know anybody in Tennessee. I mean, I know one person in Tennessee, but I don't know anybody in Nashville. So, and I'm like, what am I gonna, and like, what, like, where, like, why Nashville, right? So that's like, but to be honest, like I said, I'm not gonna know until I come back from New York in October. And there's a couple of things that I've decided not to move forward with at this time, which is great for me because it's relieved a lot of stress financially because I know what my expenses are monthly. And removing those two things was almost $900. Actually, it was probably more than $900. So they gave me back like $900, which means for me, that's another month that I can like live comfortably-ish, right? So I can put that money in my bank account and just not worry. And then, there's things that I need to buy. Like I'm squeezing my night cream, so I need to buy a new night cream. I need to buy a new eye cream, night cream, eye cream, or something else. I have it in my cart. Um, like there's this like I know this sounds silly, but like Costco has like this Gillette Venus razor and it's like $34 and I would like to get that, right? But that's something that I have to think about, right? And it's not a now, it's a later. So it's just every decision has to be looked at carefully. And this week I didn't do homework. Let's just be real. I didn't do homework. That's probably something I need to work on tomorrow. Tomorrow I have to call the doctor to reschedule my appointment and maybe we'll work on homework. I have to redo the subliminal audio and we'll see what happens. I, I'm not being too precious with things. I'm just letting things flow as they are instead of putting all this pressure on myself because then I put all this pressure on myself and then I'm like, God, you're big fat. Then I think I'm like, gosh, you're such a loser because you couldn't even do that. And currently, with what I'm doing with the 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 next part, like what I'm working on my friend, because obviously I was told I get the feeling that I'm supposed to let go of the coloring books for now, and just let them be. And if that's the case, then I am going to let go of that what's it called for now and work on putting together this coloring book and publishing it such that I can get to selling that on Amazon and doing the things that I need to do, right? And who knows, maybe even finding a publisher because that would be awesome. So that's really all I got for you today. I don't really have much. It wasn't as big of an update because it was Sunday. Sometimes Sundays are not that busy. It's like a quiet Sunday, and that's good. A quiet Sunday, and then tomorrow, have appointments and figure out school and all that, and we'll go from there. So I guess that's really all I got. As always, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to me. And here's your reminder that God's got me, I've got you, and that means we're God. So thank you again for listening. I love you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.